Howdy y'all, Wayne from Dallas, Texas here, and I react to all things UK. Got a video here for you today, one of my various British music reactions. This one's called the Top 10 Bands from Manchester. Now I know you have a big music scene there, even still today in Manchester, and a lot of bands that come from there. I may know some of these, I may not know the others. This is from a channel called Watch Mojo UK. I'll put a link in the video description, but let's dive right in. I do have other British music reactions. You can check the playlist if you're interested, but let's see what this is about. Alright, Watch Mojo UK. Long cool one.
These born and bred Manchester bands are proper mint. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 bands from Manchester.
Okay.
Before we begin, if you enjoy this video, please subscribe for more great content. For this list, we'll be focusing on the most iconic Manchester bands that keep fans shrieking with excitement all the world over.
Okay.
Number 10, The Fall. Named after a 1956 Albert Camus novel, this Prestwick collective is by far one of the most influential bands from the late 70s Manchester scene. With their debut album Live at the Witch Trials, The Fall introduced their innovative aesthetic, blending punk with an intellectual slant. Despite the band's local influence throughout the early 80s, the perpetually changing lineup and underground commitment meant that Americans never truly experienced The Fall. But the group has remained a highly productive Manchester product, with Mark E. Smith keeping fans buzzing since 1979. Number 9, The Verve.
Okay, The Fall. I had never heard of. Now, I just from the little bit I heard just then, yeah, I'm probably gonna like that band. If they got a punk influence. Never heard of them though. Nope. Sounds like they're still around. Let's go with number 9.
In the United States mainstream, most people know this Wigan band for their 1997 hit, Bittersweet Symphony. And with good reason too, as the Verve's Britpop sound made them the next big thing back then. Or so it seemed. Richard Ashcroft and company weren't one-hit wonders, yet their internal bickering broke them apart shortly after receiving a Grammy nod. However, their early 90s run added a new chapter to the Manchester rock narrative, as the Verve combined immaculate artistry with explosive live shows. As a result, these blokes had the best of times along with the worst. Number 8, The Chemicals.
Okay, I am familiar. Yeah, they couldn't stay together, huh? But yeah, I'm familiar with the Verve. Let's see what number 8 is.
Brothers. Inspired by a variety of eclectic artists, this trip-hop duo provided a thumping soundtrack for the early 90s Manchester rave scene. Originally known as the Dust Brothers, Ed Simons and Tom Rowlands became synonymous with the big beat sound, which made them a local act with an immense worldwide appeal. Unsurprisingly, the Chemical Brothers haven't always topped the US charts with their Eurocentric sound, but they continue to dominate the UK charts. And so they're the Manchester connection for pre- and post-internet electronic music. Number 7.
Okay, I mean, I am familiar with the Chemical Brothers. Yeah, very 90s rave. Yeah, I'm familiar with Chemical Brothers. Maybe they didn't do, he said they weren't that well known here, but I definitely listen to the Chemical Brothers. Let's see what number 7 is.
Order.
New Order.
After the 1980 death of Ian Curtis, the English band Joy Division came to an abrupt end after only 4 years. The surviving members formed New Order, a group of Manchester lads that became instrumental in the worldwide new wave scene.
Yeah. I know all this. I know
With
all
their
this.
1981 movement, they established a new identity locally, all the while creating a new fan base with their emotional connection to the material. New Order's reputation alone makes them Manchester legends, but they also inspired countless musicians with their sound and commitment over the years, enhancing the legacy set by the original lineup. Number 6.
Okay, so yeah, New Order, my friends and I all listened to back in the day. They were huge. I know all their songs. Was a big fan of Joy Division as well. I knew they were from Manchester. Some of these other ones that they've listed so far, that I'd heard of, I maybe didn't know they were from Manchester. So, but yeah, big New Order fan, that's for sure. That was right. When I was in high school, it was big, 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 big. So let's see what number
Elbow.
6 is.
I've been working on a cocktail called Grounds for Divorce.
Since the early 21st century, this Ramsbottom quartet has transformed into one of the most successful Manchester bands. In 2001, Elbow released their long-awaited debut album, Asleep in the Black, building upon the prog rock sound that Radiohead developed throughout the 90s.
Your legs you burn too bright.
Fronted by Guy Garvey, they've become one of indie rock's most consistent groups, reaching even more fans through spectacular live shows. In 2012, Elbow recorded the BBC's official music theme for the London Summer Olympics, highlighting their versatility as a band, while also demonstrating their significance within British culture, and certainly within their native Manchester.
Fall in love with me every day.
Number 5, Buzzcocks.
Elbow? Did I miss them? Did they hit the U? I never heard it. I never heard of them. Just a little bit I did hear just then. I did like that. Maybe I need to check into Elbow. Huh. That's why I do this. I'm learning. Let's see what number 5 is. I never thought.
With a name specific to Manchester slang,
I caught.
these punk rockers established the foundation for an entire genre of music. From their raw sound to their own independent label, the Buzzcocks changed the parameters for mid-70s Manchester musicians as they strayed away from standard routines to create their own scene. Formed by Howard Devoto and Pete Shelley, the Buzzcocks are synonymous with punk rock's early days, even though they continue to release new music and tour throughout the world. Some Manchester bands emerge and quickly fade away, but this group has proven to be one of punk rock's most enduring and respected acts, making their native Manchester proud.
How many special people change? How many lives are lived?
Number 4,
Okay, so the Buzzcocks. I honestly couldn't tell you if they made it in the U.S., but I've always been a large punk fan and definitely have listened to a lot of the Buzzcocks. Didn't know they were from Manchester, and to be honest, I didn't know they were still touring and kicking around. I got into punk a long time ago. That's why I know who they are, and I've just always been a big fan, and a big fan also of British punk. So yeah, I knew the Buzzcocks. Let's see what the next one is.
Basis.
Where were you while we were getting high?
Just as the American grunge was taking
course,
off
a
overseas,
huge
with the 1994
worldwide
release of their debut album Definitely
Oasis.
Maybe, Oasis established a loyal fan base domestically, topping the UK charts. On top of that, Liam and Noel Gallagher's feisty personas and distinct Mancunian accents set them apart from the landscape of mid-90s alternative music, and the mainstream was undoubtedly mad for it. So, in terms of 90s pop culture, there's perhaps no other band more relevant than Oasis, and they continued well on into the 2000s until they put out their own Burning Fire. Number
So-
3, Joy.
Yeah, Oasis, you know, arguably the most famous band, maybe, at least in the U.S. from Manchester, and I did know they were from Manchester. So yeah, very very familiar with Oasis. Let's see what number 3
Division.
is. One of my favorites. Gone Too Soon.
In the late 70s, this band changed the Manchester sound by incorporating punk ideals with a new wave aesthetic.
Dance, 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 dance to the radio.
Given the unique stage presence of lead singer Ian Curtis, Joy Division naturally had locals talking, yet they still had to grind away for more gigs. Unfortunately, Curtis took his own life at only 23 years of age, 2 months before the release of Joy Division's Sophomore release and the subsequent trip to the US. The surviving members established a new vision, a new order, and so Joy Division's legacy continues to be felt throughout Manchester and beyond.
Yes. Okay, so yeah, very familiar. Joy Division was the soundtrack of my high school days, and yeah, I'm just hearing those little clips. It takes me down nostalgia lane, right? Certain bands from your youth that just when you hear them, you're just like, oh yeah, that's Joy Division for me, and New Order. Did know they were from Manchester. So, number 2.
Number 2, Stone Roses. Before there was Oasis, there was the
recently
Stone
heard of
Roses,
them.
a band that once said America does not deserve us yet. They inspired a world of musicians with their 1989 debut and made an even bigger statement with the 1994's Second Coming, but like so many idealistic rock bands, Ian Brown and his Manchester mates just couldn't keep it together for the long haul. As a result, the Stone Roses left their international fan base wanting more, and they remain a Manchester group that couldn't quite cross over into the American mainstream. Even so, they're Manchester legends despite only having 2 studio albums.
I've recently
Before we
heard this
unveil our
song.
top pick, here are a few honourable mentions.
Before he gets into the honorable mentions, I see Happy Mondays there on the screen. So the Stone Roses I learned about in one of my other British music reactions videos you can see on the playlist. And I had not heard of them before. And so I just learned that they were from Manchester and that they were big there and never made it here. So yeah, that's a new one for me. I have listened to a few of their songs on YouTube because I just wanted to check them out. You know, I never heard of them. But I saw them recently on one of my other video reactions. So yeah, that's a new one for me. Let's see what the honorable mentions are. I'm wondering what number 1 is going to be. Because I really thought it was going to be Oasis. I don't know if these are in any particular order. Just top 10 bands from Manchester, but what's number 1 going to be? Should I know? Number 1 band from It's not Oasis. Oh, he showed it at the beginning. The Hollies. It's going to be the Hollies, right? At the very beginning of the video, they showed the Hollies. Yeah, I think I deduced it. Let's see what honorable mentions are. Happy Monday. I never heard of it. Wings? I never heard of it. Squirrel Park? I never heard of them either.
Number 1, The Smiths.
The Smiths. Okay, that's irritating. Didn't they show the Hollies at the beginning? Like the pre-video? Or was that number 10 maybe? Sorry, I might have got confused. I did know the Hollies. Of course I know the Smiths. Morrissey, again, right, exactly what I was listening to at the same time I was listening to Joy Division and New Order. Manchester played big in my youth, apparently. Yeah, okay. I should have guessed that. I should have known that. Of course. The Smiths.
When punk reached the United States mainstream in the early 80s, these introspective musicians were transforming the Manchester scene. Fronted by the extraordinary Stephen Patrick Morrissey, an accomplished songwriter, performer, and philosopher, the Smiths broke through with their satirical take on pretentious UK society.
But heaven knows I'm miserable now.
Beyond that, however, international listeners could identify with the
song.
lyrical concepts without necessarily needing to understand the literal framework. As a result, the Smiths earned a cult following, staying true to themselves and playing by their own
this song
rules.
too.
They didn't survive the 80s, but they're still our kids. Do you
I
agree
know
with
all this. Okay, so that was fun. Some of those bands I knew. Some I knew were from Manchester. Some I did not. Some I never heard of. Watch for more video reactions on my channel for reactions to bands from your towns, other towns. And watch for me to react to some of these bands I never heard of. Elbow? They sounded kind of interesting to me. A couple of others on there, so stay tuned for that. Like I said, go to my playlist, British Music. You'll find my other music reactions there. If you get a minute and you like my videos, please hit that like button. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your favorite bands are there from where you're at. And, please subscribe to my channel. It helps out so much. Till next time, y'all take care.